All right, hello to everybody in English 20-1. It's Miss Picard coming to you the week of May the 25th to May the 29th. And I'm here today to share with you just some final steps to finish up your critical analytical essays. Most people are choosing to edit their Black Panther essay from much earlier in the year in March. And so that's wonderful. That's great. I can't wait to see the things that you're changing, adding in, how you're making your evidence more precise, or how you're adding things like titles or good topic sentences to really bind your paper together. I'm really excited to see that. The people who have turned in their individual revisions so far, that first step that we did on the week of May the 11th, that is looking really good. So if you've handed in your revisions, I looked through them. They'll all look right on track. Like you're putting in some advanced techniques and strategies to make your work better. There's still a good chunk of each class that hasn't handed that in yet. And so I'm going to invite you to make sure that you come to our meets this week. It's optional, but if you haven't been able to get work in, you should just come and pop in, tell me how you're doing, and we can come up with a catch-up plan for you. The work this week, so we've done that little 2-week, May 11th, May 21st, that 2 weeks was really for your individual revisions so that you could catch up on some things and make your paper better by yourself going through your draft. This week, you're going to be getting feedback from the outside. So you're going to be getting a peer partner to give you some review of what they see as your strengths and also your targets for growth or some weaknesses that you can do something about, something very constructive. Okay, and so that's kind of a scary process sometimes. I know that it means you're vulnerable to show your work to somebody else, but I've got some tools to help you out, and you have a couple options in front of you. So this week you have to get some peer feedback, and you also have to give some peer feedback. Those are the two tasks. In terms of getting peer feedback, you can use a friend who's not even at our school. You could use a friend from elsewhere. You could use a family member. Whoever gives you feedback, it can be a different kind, whatever role in your life you'd like. Having said that, some of you may want to connect with classmates from our class, but maybe you're not best friends outside of school. So what I've done is I've set up a system to network this week with other people who might want partners. So if you have a peer editing partner already, great. Use that person, thank them for the feedback, and just make sure that you are also giving feedback to a classmate. But some of you might be both wanting to give feedback with the little tailgate party slides this week and also receive feedback that way, and that's fantastic. I'll walk you through how. So if you go into our slideshow, you can see that for this week's work, you're going to be giving some feedback, receiving some feedback, and applying the suggestions that you see. And it roughly breaks down to an hour and a half, so about 45 minutes of giving feedback to somebody else, 20 minutes of going through the feedback that you get from somebody, and then about 30 minutes of applying that feedback in your own paper, doing your final revisions. And again, that's the main kind of work for the week. If you want to pop into the meet, that's completely optional for you this week. And by the time we hit to June, we're going to finish the essays this week. June will be a book club and sort of final reflections and celebrations together. So we're starting the process of winding down, but there's still these last few skills that you need to be able to show, and revision is a really important one. It'll set you up for a lot of success next year to do some revision work now. Okay, all right, so this is the overview, and then once you've looked at the overview and this video, which is this little bit right here, you have the option of going to the tailgate slide to get a partner. And again, this is for people who maybe you don't have a revision partner yet. If you click in, you've actually been made an editor in that slideshow. Now I'm gonna just stop sharing this slide with you, so just bear with me while I stop presenting that section. And now instead, I'm gonna go into this guy. Oops, present now, a Chrome tab. There we go. I'm going to go into this guy and show you this slide. Now, this little tailgate party slide is it's in a mode where you're able to edit it. And this is deliberate because basically what I thought would be kind of a fun way of giving you some feedback is to show a social distancing tailgate at our school and have you hyperlink in your essays. And so I've made a variety of slides here with all different cars. So you can remember if you're in Revision Group 3 because there's that color car in the middle. And basically, I want to share with you the skill of hyperlinking objects, kind of like I did with our visual classroom, and giving you peer editing partners in the process. Okay, so if you need an editing partner, this is the place to go. The first thing is to hyperlink in your own essay. And so to do that, you need to be able to understand kind of how to use the little attachment paperclip and the little link paperclip. It looks almost like a paperclip, a little link button. So I'm gonna, in my little Chrome tab here, I'm gonna stop presenting this single slide, and I'm gonna present my whole window for you for a little bit while I switch back and forth. Okay, now in terms of this little slide, you can see that in the margins, I've put a bunch of icons, and then there's the cars themselves. Now, if you follow along, what I'd like you to be able to do is to hyperlink your essay to a car if you want help. So say I need help, Picard, I need help. You can grab one of these icons or grab your own icon that just says like needs revision. Sorry for the Wikipedia entry, and put that icon over the car. That kind of tells people that this is a person who could use a peer editing partner, right? And then when you have your essay, you're going to be sharing this essay by clicking the blue share button up there. I'll just do that one more time. So the blue share button up here. You're going to click to share the essay, and you're going to copy a link so that people who go into your document, they won't be able to download your stuff, but you can share it with people so that they can edit or suggest. I'm going to say that you should probably share your document so that it's in suggesting mode, okay? Now, all you have to do is kind of turn on the link sharing. You can restrict it to people only in EPS, so in other words, only in our school system. I would recommend you do that so that you share your document, and not as a viewer, but as a commenter. So again, though, how did I get to do that? I clicked the share button. I said, you know what? I want to change and really decide who gets to see my stuff. I changed it to be EPS only, which means it's only going to be schools in Edmonton Public, and it defaults to be viewer, but I actually put commenter so the person could give me comments, okay? With that done, I can now get the share link that's here. I can copy that link to my clipboard, go back into my document, and I can actually, by clicking on the car, I can go up to I can right click on my little car, and I can add, oops, I'll hide that little button so it's too hard to see, sorry. I can actually put a link inside of my demo here. I have to actually ungroup, sorry, for it to do that. Okay, so for my individual little guy here, if you look up at the toolbar, there's a little tiny paperclip-like link button, and that's where I want to be able to paste in the location of my essay. So if I right-click on here, it should let me put a link in. If I click on this little button, it should be, okay, it's way down here. That's where the window is. So I don't know if you can see, but going straight down to the corner, the link window is actually down in the bottom left-hand corner on this screen right now. So I'm gonna go Control V, which is my little paste button, apply. And now when people are inside this slide, maybe they're viewing it in presentation mode, they can click on that car and it will actually take them to my Google Doc, to my sample essay. Now, why am I showing you this? Well, I think that it's an important skill to be able to manipulate some of these documents now, to be able to show that you can, or to be able to manipulate and edit documents and make like what we call a hyperdoc. So like a document that has easily linked for people. I know that going online as a teacher, that's been a really important skill that I've had to use more regularly. So I think that that's one reason I'm getting you to do it this weird way where you're like linking your document in here. I also think that it's a simple way for you to visually check in during the week to see if somebody's given you feedback or not, rather than having to like go through all the process of going into your doc every day. You can kind of skim through. You can also see who needs help by having this one slide check-in and see which cars have the little help sign on and which ones have already been helped by the little done person. So again, how did that work? Well, okay, say pretend that I had a car that was empty. I need help on my essay, I'm going to find one of these icons or put something in there as an icon that shows it needs to be edited, so it's not done yet. And then on the card itself, I'm going up to the link button. I'm pasting in the address of my share URL for my document, and that's going to allow people to access my sample essay. You can see the link is appearing right down there. Okay, now once you're done, like once that's uploaded, you have to wait, right? People have to come and give you some help. So I've written in here, you know, let's try and use up each slide and finish the whole set of cards before we go onto the new set, just so that there's not like one person waiting on slide number 1 and forever for peer feedback, right? So try to use the cards that are here. If one's empty, it doesn't have an essay attached. If there's an icon on it, somebody has put their essay link in there. And if it has a done icon, I'm gonna ask that if you've revised one of the essays, that you've got your feedback ready, that you link your feedback to this little icon. So that, again, like maybe it had the help icon, like over here, the level up one, it had the essay that needed to be doing. Well, if I personally gave them revision feedback, I'm gonna move off the help me icon. I'm gonna put the, oh, we're done icon on top. And then I'm gonna link my feedback document to the person whose car that was, right? So that person's essay gets a piece of feedback. So in this week's peer revision document, when you have your own copy, you can go to the share button up in the top. Again, you can change so that it's only people at our school who have the ability to view. And in fact, you can make them a commenter. And I'd recommend that you put it only EPS and only a commenter. Click the done button, then get the link. So copy this link, get the links that you can paste that into the hyperdoc, which is our little tailgate party document, right? And on the done little sticker, you're gonna use the same link button up here, put the link in, and you're gonna put in the URL of that revision sheet that you filled out, so that now, not only does the person know they can go back to their car to get to their essay, but if they click on this little icon, your feedback is there for them. So that's what I'd like to use as the backup for people who need to get partners. It's a nice visual way that you can skim and scan, see, oh, there's 3 cards there that all have help icons. I can help one of those 3 people with their essay. It's also a nice way where you can kind of collect together some of your peer revision sheets, so that, in other words, nobody's losing their work, because you know, you have to change editing permissions in Google Classroom. Here is like a simple click and you're into the feedback for your particular essay. That's what I'd like to do. So we'll try it out and see how much success there is. If you're struggling to get partners, if you're struggling with this as a mode of pairing up, then don't panic. And in fact, come to our meets. Again, I also have extra tutorials Wednesdays in the afternoons, and that can help you out to get you partnered up with somebody. And worst case scenario, I will come in and give you some feedback before you have to hand in your final essays. I'm gonna ask that the peer feedback page, this little checklist, it's only one page this time. This little checklist, I'd ask that you fill this out by this coming Friday, so that's May 29th. But then if you need to take the weekend, and that Monday, June the 1st, to finish up your final copy of your essays, that's okay. So peer editing checklist, I wanna see how you're doing with this skill. But the final essay, June the 1st, that's the deadline for the final Black Panther essays, or Vimy if you chose to do Vimy. Okay, this isn't a terribly difficult worksheet. It's just asking you to look for certain things like hooks material, like is it capturing your interest as a reader? Is the work well organized? Are spelling and grammar looking okay? Are paragraphs punctuated properly? So it's some pretty simple things about structure that either are like excellent, good, or needs work, and there's a space for you to tell the person what their next steps are going to be. Okay, so it's evidence, comments. I really hope that your comments as constructive feedback are actually about next steps. Okay, folks, I hope that that's all really we need to go over this week in terms of Google Classroom. So again, just remember that you're going to not just to the stream, but to classwork. You're opening up the week's work. All of the explanation I just gave in the video is here. There's the slides for the week overview and for peer editing this week. There'll be a new assignment to post your final June 1st final drafts. And if you don't have a partner, and only if you don't have a partner, then go to the virtual tailgate slideshow. And I'm going to challenge you to try that out in order to try hyperlinking your own essay into some of these cars, and it's starting on slide number 2. So follow the directions. I'm going to invite you to use this visual as a visual hyperdoc to pair up, to upload your documents with share permissions, and again, I promise that I will ungroup these. So basically, you'll be able to just click on a single car because you have editing privileges. So click on a single car, and then you're going up to the bar to find that little insert link button. I hope that's been a slow enough and also engaging little overview of HyperDoc this week. And thank you all for your hard work so far. You're nearing the finish line. I'm so excited to finish out the year with you. And we'll use June as kind of a celebration month, but also as a little check-in, kind of book club style, to do one last round of just talking together. Yeah, and showing your skill in that way, because you're wonderful communicators when it comes to discussion. Okay, have a lovely week. Happy week of May the 25th. And for those of you who just celebrated Eid, I hope that the celebrations with your family, I know they would have been different. I hope that you still had a wonderful time and were able to sort of share in that spirit of that celebration holiday together. Thanks, everybody, and take care. We'll see you this week in Meets. Bye.